Let me talk about food. The Food and Drugs Authority has cautioned the public against neglecting labels and writings on food products to avoid consuming expired ones, especially during this festive period. Ashanti Regional Head of the authority, Nora Naki Telabi, advised consumers to carefully examine labels on products purchased to ensure consumer safety and avoid food poisoning and other health-related issues. She was speaking to my colleague, Prince Apia.
So we are here to speak to the Ashanti Regional Director for the Food and Drugs Authority, Mrs. Nora Naki Telabi, about what to look out for this Christmas period when you want to buy hampers or canned materials for your loved ones.
What we realize is you get these hampers already prepared. So you want to give somebody a gift. This is the season of giving. So all of us are trying to give to our loved ones and our friends and acquaintances. So you purchase them. By the time you bring this, the person is gifted the hamper. So you bring it home. You are not actually, you don't make a conscious effort to check what kind of products are in. I gave that scenario because personally I received a hamper. I came home and I decided that let me break it out. Let me look at what is inside. In breaking it out, I realized that about 50 or 70% of the items were expiring at the end of this month. So the items are not expired. As we speak, is not expired. And I think that is what it is. The business person has stock. They have stocks that are almost expiring. This is the season that we all buy. Now, if you buy and you're going to use everything in the hamper within the stipulated time, there's no problem. But the issue is that we as Ghanaians keep things. You get the items, maybe you have already purchased all the things you need for Christmas anyway. So these items, you leave them somewhere, or either you also gift it out. And so if you don't take time, or if you are not cautious, then by the time you start using them without checking the expiry date, and I realize that for us Ghanaians, when the item is in our home, we feel it is part of, is mine. And so you don't worry about whether it's expired or not. And so the advice is, if you receive a hamper, that's a good gesture. Please, that's what we are advising. And if you want to make hampers, then probably, let's say you are an institution, you want to give out a lot of hampers, then it's better you go out and procure the individual items you wanted to put in the hamper and then give them to somebody to parcel them for you. With that, then you know exactly what you are putting in the hamper, which is better than going to buy the already prepared one, which are the risks that we are seeing.
Well, it's that time of the year where a lot of you go out there to shop for the festive season, like you heard her say. So what do you look out for before making your purchase? And can you tell the difference between expiry dates and best before? The FDA will be doing that education for us. But before that, though, we have been to the Nima market to find out from traders and shoppers. Listen.
They make it cheap, and the reason is simple: for you to buy as many as possible. Whilst buy one get one free might become a thing for the day, and many other promotional activities are ongoing. So what do you first check when you are making such purchases? My name is Annabella Nijan, and I am here at the Nima market to find out.
When they come, they check the expiry date.
Those who can read ask whether the expiry date is due. We also pack the expired products for the company to destroy them. But the ones that the company cannot pick up, we just thrash them.
Me catch my clients for some moment. And they be a so and say, Memphis say active say. Now on my and 12. So into no more 12 now time now government is say ensure free no. And almost say this Xmas into more promotion to more no 16. Almost the 4 account. Into no who so buy one and get one free and say but a promotion. Into we check date and yet say I say. Hey, do and say but a promotion.
And your man a big call, a big expire near the
And so me dey me meto ade a expired.
I have never bought expired products. Neither do I buy promotions. I find everything I want here at the Lima market, and I don't consider the brand when buying. I buy what is available. Some look at the brand. Some don't take recommendation. Instead, they buy what they want.
Products me ba na bi wo hon ko ade a fine me to a me ko share ye to omo share brand no maybe brand we onim na wa to obo won so a onim wo be kire no but onfa brand no pe no eno a na obefa na wa fa obo won so obeto a o share expiring date no ansa na wa fa so share na expiring date na ben a onfa obeja to na okọ expiring date no expiring date now. By spices in the expiring date.
Everybody look at the expiring date. Some products have short time for the expiring date to be due, especially the 10 products.
By things in the money now expiring date no. And yakura ebu next month. Some say this month we are week and ochina be expire way. And so omonto we dey anta enu anu no. I say no. I just said to call Ebola. Somebody said every 3 months be a new the expiring date in there. 3 months. I say every week you should be a coffee. 3 months. Every 3 months I say.
I buy flour every 3 months because of the expiring date. Sometimes customers tell me when the expiring date is due.
No, I catch me say date no aben. And son na who say ebia aben. Masusu ato na wan susu anto dia wo beto nema no bebre wo ha na expire.
Well, the Food and Drugs Board says it is doing what it believes should do to make sure the products on the markets like these are wholesome. But the fact is, the responsibility is yours to make sure you are not poisoning yourself and your family just because you got it cheap. Annabella Hinijan reporting for JoyNews.
Well, joining us on Zoom for a conversation on this is Kofi Esel. He's head of Industry Support Services Department of the Food and Drugs Authority. Mr. Esel, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
Many thanks for that, and same to you. Now, I know that you've been in the market. This is what you told us. I want to find out, what have you picked up? I mean, so far, what's your assessment?
Well, thank you very much, and let me say very good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I think
Mr. Esel, I'm losing you. Can you reposition?
Information that we have picked up, just as your reporter did pick up from, is an indication that, okay, do you have me now?
Yes, I do hear you. If you can wrap up what you said, it'll be good. Yes, sir. I hear you, but kindly wrap up what you said.
Is, try very hard to. I think the problem is with the network in this area.
Let's try it once again.
The information that your reporter picked up is an indication that okay.
Let me sincerely apologize for that one. We'll try and work the line out. But do you check expiry dates when you go out to the market to buy, especially in this festive season where you can actually get a lot of products cheaper than they usually cost? When you go for such products, do you check for the expiry date? We put our number there, right there. I want to hear from you. Now, most of you are already texting about the fire outbreaks and talking about the answers that we got from the PRO of the National Fire Service. Let's see if I can take one or two of that while I wait for you to give us an update on what your behavior is when you get to the market. You know, money is hard to come by. We said that this morning. But will you sacrifice the health of your family and yours because it's cheap, right? Let's hear from you. The number is right there on your screen. So this one says, it's talking about the fire service, by the way. We're trying to raise Mr. Asel back again, but let me chip this in quickly. This one says, good afternoon. The fact that the Ghana National Fire Service, the fact about the service is that they are not properly resourced. They are least considered when it comes to GOG, Government of Ghana funding. As we speak, there are a lot of fire stations with faulty and non-functioning fire tenders, and central government is less concerned. Kindly send your reporters to the Akosombo, where we have a critical national installation, and check on the tender. Very good message. Iceberg, send that from Agotime. Thank you for your message. We'll go back to those messages. Mr. Esel, do I have you on phone instead? We'll try that and see if we can get the information across.
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly. Please go ahead.
Yes. I was saying that the information picked up by your reporter,
the
Nima market, is indicative of the fact that our public education is going down well with consumers. Obviously, you wouldn't have the Food and Drug Authority, following every Ghanaian when you go out there to do your purchase during seasons of that nature. And so, as a way of intensifying the knowledge base of consumers, we go out there, do more public education. We also put our men out there to do what we call the market surveillance. And so market surveillance and then the issues that they pick up all add on to the information that we will address, or the information that we put out to consumers when they do that purchase. And so just as the issue of best before date or minimum date of durability is concerned, people are becoming more and more conscious, and we want people to keep on being conscious. The other thing that we want to add on has to do with assessing the package integrity. When we talk about package integrity, you're looking at whether if it's a canned product, if it is a cardboard box which is used in packaging the product. Look at for signs of tampering. Look at for signs of deterioration. If you see signs of tampering or deterioration, we will advise that you don't touch or you don't buy such product. A deteriorated packaging will allow the product to go by, even though the expiry date assigned to the product has not yet elapsed. And so consumers to keep on watching out for some of these things. Look at the language that is used in addressing what they call it, providing information on the product. If it is not in English, and you cannot read what is there, don't just listen to the retailer telling you what the product is. You should know the product yourself. And people also use this period to also sell imitated products. And don't be surprised, we are having issues with imitated alcoholic beverages, even very expensive alcoholic beverages. Unfortunately, the price quotations will always tell you who is selling which fake alcoholic beverage.
Is the price the best assessment for the wholesomeness of food?
Well, looking at the economics of it, okay, nobody who is trying to sell a fake product will sell it as a very expensive.
Because you can actually buy food that's extremely expensive, but perhaps it's the brand, perhaps it's where you're buying it.
I mean, I'm speaking from a security point of view.
Okay.
It doesn't make economic sense. But the person who is trying to make a fake sale and then get the money and get out of the market to price a fake product at the same price as the original one. Unless, of course, the original one is not in trade at all. They have stopped producing it. But so long as the original ones are in trade and they are competing with them, no, they will always beat down their prices.
So this will mean you have a fair idea of the market price of this particular product.
Precisely, and we use all of that in our assessment. And so, if I come to a shop and I'm looking at prices of items, I'm not looking at prices of items just for the fact that I'm a consumer. I'm a regulator, and I use some of these what they call the modalities to assess what is happening. Then we'll get in touch with the manufacturer or maybe the importer of those items. And with alcoholic beverages, fortunately, the Ghana Revenue Authority issues this tax ticket. Okay, and with the tax sticker, now you can even use the GRA's what do you call it app, for assessing the authenticity of some of the stickers to show whether the sticker is. So when you pick anything that is suspicious, then you zoom in and do more investigations, find out who supplied the shop the particular shop with those items. And this, let me use this opportunity to also advise retailers that you have to be very careful. When people run to your shop, okay, and they tell you they have these goods they want to supply and all that, don't just buy them without proper documentation. We have had situations where people are speculating or distributing some alcoholic beverages, safe ones, without proper documentation. They are not giving out any way bill, or they are not giving out any invoices. They just sell a box, a few bottles, they take their money, they're on the run. And then when you go there, you check and realize that these are fake ones, and you cannot trace the supply. All you can do for now is to seize the goods and have them destroyed. But we are now taking on board, or we are taking on the retailers themselves. And so you don't want to be a victim of such a fraudulent act. When you are caught selling a fake product, a fraudulent product, and you cannot produce the one who sold it to you, you become the culprit, and we will take you.
So back to what you found actually on the ground, Mr. Isa. What I appreciate what you said earlier, but I still want to find out: did you, when you went out, find that, say, majority or just a little or just a few products seem to have been sold on the markets which have expiry dates or which are suspicious? Did you find anything like that?
What we'll find out part of the usual, the routine thing, date marking of products that have gone past their date. And for most of them, you can see that it wasn't a deliberate act. It's an act of negligence on the part of the retailers that they've left maybe a product or two on the shelf. And some of them will destroy on site if we have them in the warehouses. Largely because they are able to recoup the taxes that they paid on such products. They will call you and then have a proper documentation for supervised self-disposal so that they can recoup their taxes on such products. And so the retailers themselves, and you have the ladies, with the flour, where they are calling, some of them, the suppliers will come and have them replaced. They are not losing out, okay, because the supplier comes and replaces what are expired, and it takes them back and gives you fresh ones. And then the suppliers will now put them together, call the FDA, and we have them destroyed. On a daily basis, you have applications of safe disposal coming to the office. You will still have snippets, of tissues scattered all over the place. And we still need to keep our eyes on the block. So likely, what you've observed has to do with products that have gone past their expiry and all. But obviously, I wouldn't say that we've been to every single shop on every street on our car market. It is not possible for us to do that within this period. It is a routine thing that we do. But we know that, some of these things, the consumer himself and herself, together with the FDA, we need to work together.
Okay.
And so when we have such public education programs going on, it behoves on you, the retailer, the consumer, to also look out for these things. And the retailers are also advised to also make sure that they carry out a regular rotation of stock so that we don't have situations where goods stay on the shelves when they've gone past their best before the minimum period of durability.
Mr. Esel, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Kofi Esel is head of Industry Support Services Department of the Food and Drugs Authority. As you've heard him, they've been out checking whether or not people are selling items that have expired. He says they found a few of that. But the responsibility, again, like Annabella said, is up to you to make sure that you're not sacrificing good health for cheap food stuff.